love where you are currently living. Fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster, and yes, I am finally living in a place that I love. Stagecoach, Nevada. It's not for everyone. Took me over an hour to drive here this morning, but I love it out there. At night, the stars are clear and bright. Not like when you're in town. I mean, Reno's good, you can see the stars, but with the light of the city, it kind of dims the stars a little bit. Every night I get to see those amazing stars. It's quiet most of the time. I have found that my things that annoy me have changed. When Grace and I lived in an apartment here in town last year, you hear your neighbors coming and going, you hear the cars coming and going, and that didn't really bother me unless the neighbors got really loud or the cars got really loud, or the plane, since we were in the pathway of the airport, got really low, and that annoyed me. You know what annoys me now? Is if my neighbor that is a quarter of a mile away from me makes a noise that I can actually hear. That annoys me now. And with that, I don't even want to see my neighbors. If I can see my neighbors, they are too close. This is what annoys me now. There are so many great things. We have a full acre out there, so I get to have the cars that I want. I have a full garage now that I can work on things. Mostly yard work, not really working on cars these days. By the way, I also discovered that I love yard work. This is the first time in my life since I was a kid that I had the opportunity to actually do yard work, you know, other than my mom or my dad telling me to go out and mow the grass. But now I can do yard work. I trim trees, I dig holes, I put in irrigation, and I love it. It is fantastic. It is amazing. But I learned something new last night about a Stagecoach. Some of you are familiar with Stagecoach. If I was to say to you that there is entertainment in Stagecoach, what would you think? How could there possibly be entertainment? Unless you consider the wild horses walking up and down our streets entertainment, which I love that, by the way. Got to watch out for them, of course. Don't hit them on the highway, but I love seeing them walk up and down our streets. We have coyotes running through our yard. Is that exciting? Well, it can be entertainment. What about all the rabbits running around? That's pretty fantastic. We feed the birds, lots of birds. Did you know that birds fight for food? We get to watch this. It's pretty darn entertaining, watching the birds go after each other. But that's not the entertainment that I'm talking about. Last night, I attended something called the Stagecoach Advisory Board. Now, right, you're thinking to yourself, you're like, how could that possibly be entertaining? Well, let me tell you, folks. I've been going to that since we moved out there in June. And typically, there's 10 to 15 people there, and there's a pretty quietness. Believe me, it's all I can do to stay awake most of the time during the meeting. Last night, there were 175 people there. Woo. Yeah, in a room that max occupancy is 100. We were stuffed in there like sardines. It was awesome. With all my neighbors, it was fantastic. Now, why were they all there, you're wondering, right? It's because we had somebody do something that you don't want to do in Stagecoach. A developer said something about developing in Stagecoach. You would think you'd shot your neighbor. You'd think you shot your friend. Because these people lose their minds. Now, here's where the entertainment part comes in. These people take little pieces of information without doing any research on their own whatsoever, and they speak very loudly on their stand against this development, and they sound like complete idiots. This went on for an hour and a half last night. Now, some of you know that I'm very involved in real estate these days. So anything that goes on in Stagecoach, you would think, what's going on in Stagecoach? Well, there's a lot of different things going on in Stagecoach in the surrounding area. I've educated myself on water resources, sewer. Do we have septic tanks, or we're going to have a sewer system? Traffic, highway, back roads. Some roads are paved, some roads are not. Fences. There's a lot of different things that you need to be aware of when you're talking about Stagecoach and development. We had one person there that represented this development, and I'm glad that he was there. I tell you what, he's got big courage, let's just say, to show up to this meeting. because we already knew how this meeting was going to go. About halfway through the meeting, as he got tired of hearing people misquote facts, he started sharing facts. And I know that these are facts because I've seen the facts myself from the actual resources that provide these facts, and people want to argue with him. Let's argue about what water aquifer is under Stagecoach. Now, I know that you probably don't know, but those of us that are involved, we know what aquifer we're in. We know how far the aquifer goes. This one particular person, wanted to argue about the aquifer, and his final answer was, go to the state records. It's right there. All you got to do is look it up. And I couldn't believe he was able to maintain his composure, especially when a woman says, well, I don't want them to impose HOA fees on me. They're not going to come in and assign HOA fees to you. Now, the new community development, yes, it's going to have HOA fees. But us 700 residents that are currently in Stagecoach, we're not going to have any HOA fees imposed upon us. What was another one? They wanted to argue about, they're putting in a stoplight, right? And of course, when they said they were going to put in a stoplight, I already know that when a developer comes in, if a stoplight is required, they are going to put in a stoplight. The woman wanted to argue with him on, well, I'm not going to pay for that stoplight. And he goes, you're not going to pay for that stoplight. Well, I don't want to pay for that stoplight. You're not going to pay for the stoplight. It's in the documentation. You can see that where we are paying for the stoplight. Well, I don't want to pay for the stoplight. Anyways, fellow Toastmasters, if you ever have an opportunity to get some entertainment out of your community, or maybe you want to come share my entertainment with my community, please feel free to do so. And for those of you who do not love where you live, I suggest you do what you can to find a place that you love where you live. And maybe it'll come with some provided entertainment. Madam Toastmaster.